Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Around the Nation right here. Jeff Waldorf here with you. Got a great show for you guys today, including news about possibly the shutdown being averted, because we've only got a couple more days until the government basically runs again out of money, although not really, but then it's got to get appropriate, all that stuff, right? We've got a couple of days to avert a partial government shutdown again. So we're going to talk about that. We'll see if there's the New Deal in the works. We'll see if Donald Trump signs it or not. Oh boy. Then we have an interesting theft happening here. Apparently, Donald Trump has stolen somebody's campaign slogan. You're not going to believe this. It's great. Then we have Donald Trump Jr. Calling teachers losers in a speech. We'll talk about that too. AOC versus Trump's jab on the Green New Deal. Then we've got a cameraman being attacked at a Trump rally. Surprise, surprise. And then we have more fallout from the comments from Ilhan Omar. So we're going to be talking about that. That should be a fun story as well. So lots of stuff to get to today, as usual. But first, before we do that, please like and share the stream if you haven't already. I'm going to go through and thank some new members, I should say new patrons, or just old patrons here. So let's do that real quick here. I want to thank Abram Thau, Adrian Brown, and Ahmed Henry for supporting us. Patreon.com/TYTNation. That's how you can support TYT Nation. This show, it helps out greatly. And yeah, so then memberships, you want to join to be a member through YouTube, you can do that as well. That goes to help the show. We're still running the professional camera drive, so please donate to that. GoFundMe.com/TYTNation camera. And you can help us get a new camera that we will use for events and to make the show look better. So as we're into 2019. All right, guys, that's it for that. Let's dive into the show. All right. So there is a new tentative deal between Democrats and Republicans to avoid another government shutdown. According to reports, the two parties have reached an agreement in principle over border security to fund the U.S. government and avert another partial government shutdown. Now, the shutdown, of course, was disastrous for the GOP, so they're obviously in no position to want to repeat that. Trump, however, well, okay, let's dive into that and see if Donald Trump is interested in signing this. Now, the agreement contains a fraction of the money that Donald Trump wants for the promised border wall and actually doesn't mention a concrete barrier. So right now, according to details from aides familiar with the negotiations, we have $1.375 billion in funding for 55 miles of new border fencing. Now, the barrier would be built using designs such as metal slats instead of the concrete wall that Trump had demanded. Now, I'm not a math magician, right? But $1.375 billion is a lot less than 5.7. So that's what Donald Trump had asked for. That's what he shut down the government for last time. And not only that, but that 5.7 billion would not even build a majority of the wall. It would actually build only a very small section. So this is far from ideal for Mr. Trump, right? So, So basically the president could sink this at any time because it's not what he had been asking for. Now, there was also an agreement in here, I guess, for the Democrats, that would reduce the number of beds in detention centers from 4,250 from the current 49,057. Now, look, those are the details we know so far. Okay. All right. So there might be other details that come out later that might This is a tentative agreement, again, an agreement in principle. So there might be things added to it, or maybe taken away, things that might be changed. Now, look, there's one thing. I actually do really like the reduction of detention center beds because I don't think that we should be detaining immigrants. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a wasteful for taxpayer money, right? And it also helps private prison corporations, and I'm not exactly in favor of those either, right? But as far as border security, look, steel slats, yes, border walls, border fencing, whatever, still kind of a waste of money. But, look, if they actually increase some security at, for example, legal checkpoints to check for drugs, okay, look, I'm not too opposed for that. But if you actually want to take on drugs, especially the opioid epidemic, right, which Donald Trump falsely attributes to, oh, they're coming over the border with these opioids. No, that's not true at all. No, we've got drug dealers in the United States that have killed far more people than the drug cartels and than MS-13. You know what they call them? Big Pharma. But of course, look, and if you want to take them on, it sounds crazy, right? Sounds crazy, but what we should do to take them on, Big Pharma, is to legalize and regulate old drugs. Now, that actually doesn't take on Big Pharma. We should, yes, actually take them on as well, but I meant the cartels, right? You want to take on the cartels, you want to shift or take the power away from the hands of the cartels, you legalize and regulate all drugs. Big Pharma, well, there's other things we can do to take them on, right? But of course, they're not going to do that, right? So, look, in the absence of actually taking on the real problem, right, there are some drugs that do get through legal points of entry. So I'm not exactly against increasing funding for, people, down at the border that are actually checking and making sure that those drugs don't actually get through. It's kind of a Band-Aid, really, and that's all we ever get from establishments, right? Establishment Democrats. So now, is Donald Trump going to sign this? Is he going to agree with this? Well, according to the BBC, some of the president's conservative allies have called this deal garbage. You had Sean Hannity out there saying it's a garbage compromise. You have Representative Mark Meadows, who's the House Freedom Caucus leader. He said that the agreement, quote, failed to address the critical priorities outlined by Border Patrol chiefs. Of course, they want a wall. Now, Ann Coulter, I don't know if she's weighed in yet. Rush Limbaugh, no. However, Trump has weighed in already, and it's not encouraging. Jim Acosta tweeted a quote from the White House from Donald Trump. Specifically, he said, quote, I'm not happy about it. It's not doing the trick. But he didn't say whether he would sign it or not. But again, that's not encouraging. Here we go again. As I mentioned before, congressional Republicans really don't want another shutdown. Why? It's politically disastrous. I mean, look how much their approval rating dropped during the last shutdown, right? But unfortunately for them, they have Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is a really stupid person. He is not a very stable genius, okay? He's dumb enough to get us into another shutdown. And the clock's ticking right now. Tick tock, right? We are running out of time. We have till Friday to get a deal. Oh, shit. I shouldn't have said that. My apologies. I'm trying not to swear in my videos. But look, he is dumb, and I'm very, very worried that we will have another shutdown because Trump is deeply stupid. He's not a smart person. I can't stress enough how dumb he really is. And he's also incredibly stubborn and believes that he is right. That combination of arrogance, ignorance is just not good for the country. So I worry that there will be another government shutdown. And if that's the case, our government workers, they can't handle another shutdown. Okay. So there's that. Moving on. So it's no secret that the Trumps are into plagiarism, Just, remember Melania Trump stealing a bunch of Michelle Obama's quotes. And not only that, but Make America Great Again, of course, is stolen from Ronald Reagan. So it should be no surprise that President Trump has stolen yet another slogan, but the source will surprise you. Now, I want to show you that graphic and see if you guys can guess where this came from. Right here. We're only getting stronger together. Yes, that is a real, not only quote from Trump, but also a real poster the RNC put together. Oh, lovely. Now, during an event in El Paso, President Trump said that exact line. Now, if you guys haven't guessed it already, there was a politician out there that used stronger together. Yeah, it was Hillary Clinton. Oops. Now, when asked about this, Republican National Committee spokesperson Steve Guest told The Hill, quote, "Hey man, when you lose your campaign, you lose your monopoly on slogans." Yeah, but you really want to use that slogan? Why? Why? I mean, oh sure, it's better than "I'm with her," but not much. It's more BS platitudes. And by the way, 6 months from now, I predict that they're going to try to steal "I'm with her." I'm just saying. And besides, who are you stronger together with? White supremacists? Seriously. Now, of course, social media weighed in. They had a few thoughts. Alexander Aaron said, "Oh, hey, it's that thing where men pretend a woman doesn't exist until a man repeats what she said." Hey, man, look, that is a phenomenon that does happen. Jesse Ferguson says, "Trump's 2020 slogan is stronger together? My head hurts." Molly Knight adds, "Stronger together was literally Hillary's slogan. I'm so embarrassed for you." Dude, we're all embarrassed. Seriously. Politico Cal says, "Lock her up. Just give her slogans first." Just give us her slogans first. I love that. Molly Jung Fast says, "Nothing says together than the president who uses racism as a campaign slogan." Well, again, who is he stronger together with? All the worst people of society. Jay Howe says, "Make plagiarism great again. Only the best people, huh?" And finally, Brief Truth says, "Plagiarizing HRC after doing the same to Michelle Obama." Nice. Well, that's because Donald Trump has never had an original thought in his head to begin with. He literally gets ideas from Fox News. Policy ideas. So yeah, great minds, right? The best people, the best ideas. So he steals someone's idea, as usual, and then takes credit. President Trump and the Republicans in a nutshell. Okay. One more here. Let's go to Don Jr. Okay. More fun. So Donald Trump Jr. Was at a Trump rally in El Paso, and he was giving a speech, and he went after the teachers. I'm going to show you that video, then we're going to break down the internet reaction to it. Let's take a look.
I love seeing some young conservatives because I know it's not easy. Right? Keep up that fight. Bring it to your schools. You don't have to be indoctrinated by these loser teachers that are trying to sell you on socialism from birth. You don't have to do it.
Loser teachers, guys. Oh, you don't have to be indoctrinated by loser teachers. Wow, man. Yeah. And so this is coming from somebody, of course, whose father is a very stable genius, right? So now, this was tweeted out by Aaron Rupar, who said, "Trump's Jr.'s message to young conservatives, keep up the fight. Bring it to your schools. How about you don't? You don't have to be indoctrinated by loser teachers that are trying to sell you on socialism." I'm sorry, I didn't realize teachers were trying to teach me socialism. Yeah, I don't remember that in my econ class In fact, my economics teacher always complained about President Obama. Weird how that works. But then again, that was in college. And I must not remember the socialist art teacher. Come on, man. Ridiculous. Now, teachers and other people on social media were not happy about this. And Ursu says, loser teachers is an interesting message for the GOP. Well, come on. I mean, it's not like the Republicans haven't already declared a war on education and facts. That's literally enemy number one is knowledge. So, and look, all you have to do to realize that is to look at their education policy and who they put in charge of it. Betsy freaking DeVos. Well, Betsy DeVos hates education. She wants to destroy education, and she wants to make sure that it's replaced by charter schools that can teach your kids religion. Yeah, not in favor, right? Look, you want to learn about religion? Go to church. That's kind of what it's there for. But anyway, more tweets here. Horatio says, Trump Jr. thinks teachers like me and many others are losers for teaching kids equality. Yeah, yeah, I remember, like, growing up. Like, now treat people who you want to be treated, Jeff. Don't be a jerk. Well, now it's like, no, they're saying the opposite now. The same people who said that before are now saying, oh, no, treat everybody except for those guys, and those guys, and those guys, and those people. Those people are terrible. You know what? Let's just forget about the whole idea of equality. We're better than they are. Okay, man. It's amazing how much they change. Definitely not Jennifer. I don't know. I have a feeling that she's probably Jennifer. Says, I'm one of those loser teachers, and I will do more good in the next 5 days in my classroom than you will do in the rest of your sorry life. You are the broken progeny of a failure of a father. Try breaking the cycle and being your own man. And they use the hashtag #BeBetter, which is great and ironic because that, of course, is Melania Trump. Her thing. Now, Charlie Spearing says, I'm sorry, that was just a retweet of what Donald Trump Jr. had said. I am a Warriors fan, says, loser teachers, nice. I'm a first-year teacher. I have to buy my own supplies for my students to even have the basics to learn. I'm too busy trying to get them ready for the next grade and worrying about where we're going to get our next box of glue to indoctrinate them. Yeah. So, look, that's one thing. Like, we don't celebrate teachers. We don't respect teachers at all for what they do. We literally leave our kids in the care of teachers and educators for most of the day, for at least 8 hours a day. And we don't have any respect for them. We don't fund them enough. We don't pay them enough. We don't give them any respect. And now you have the son of the president of the United States going out there and calling teachers losers. Come on. I mean, what has happened to us? We used to actually value education. We used to actually value smart people. And the fact that we don't kind of explains a lot right now. Brandon Schiller, PhD, says, hey, Donald Trump Jr. and Donald Trump, just putting this out there for my other loser teachers. Tomorrow's lesson will be on how to vote and get rid of the perpetrator of the worst viable, I'm not going to say that, actually. But I'm not going to finish that because that's as nasty. But you get the gist, right? Molly John Fast says the loser who works for his dad. Mike Wickett says, loser teachers, write that down. You probably learned to write from a loser teacher, so thank them. Shannon Watt says, loser teachers should go over well with one of the 5 American Federations of Teachers members who voted for Trump and the 1 in 3 National Education Association members who voted for him. That is a good point. Schoolie says, and a big shout out to all the loser teachers with us here today. Christy Richardson says, my daughter's a teacher. My friends are teachers. I support our teachers who are not into indoctrination. That's a political thing. Yeah, look, what teachers do is, I think it should be obvious, but they teach facts. That's what it's about. It's about teaching people facts and knowledge. But if you seem to be against facts and knowledge, then you would see teachers as a threat. And, well, we see what side they're on. Mark Folman says, Loser teachers reveals more about Don Jr. than he realizes. Brian Bennett says, you mean the schools that are paid for by tax dollars that are pooled together for the greater good? Those schools? Next thing you're going to tell me is that if they get there by using roads that are also paid for by the government, using pooled taxpayer money. It's almost as if education itself and roads are socialism. Weird. Chicago Teachers Union says Donald Trump Jr. called teachers losers today. Must mean we're doing something right. Yep. Great point there. Let's see. Jess Phoenix says he called them loser teachers. Raise your hand if you know an amazing teacher who smashes that insult to pieces. Well, look, there are plenty of excellent teachers out there. And Carrie Penbaker says, loser teachers, before my shot and killed herself, she was a special needs teacher. Without teachers investing their time in me, I wouldn't be where I am. When you get the chance, thank a teacher because too many people fail to do so. Absolutely. Elizabeth Schatz-Doyle says, teachers do not indoctrinate kids. It's called learning. Academics, teamwork, social skills, and now lockdown drills. That's very important to point out. Not socialism, survival through human compassion and kindness, and gun control. And let's see, there's more. Representative Anna V. Escamani says, keep on talking, Trump Jr. Teachers are powerful, and teachers vote. And not only do teachers vote, by the way, but like we saw in Oklahoma, California, and other places, they also fight for their students. They fight for higher wages, they strike for higher wages, and they strike for smaller classroom sizes, which means they can actually help out more of their students. And finally, aquatic ecologist says, my hat is off to all the loser teachers who spend their lives working hard to teach our children to be critical thinkers, to weigh the evidence before them, to recognize that facts matter, to call BS on the BS, or the BSers, hashtag Monday Thoughts. So, yeah. A lot of great responses to this. Look, you want to go after the teachers. You want to go after education. You want a war on facts. Well, you know what? Facts are going to push back. Teachers are going to push back. We're all going to push back. People who actually care about facts and logic and reality. So, you want a war? You got one. Okay. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We got more stuff, including AOC versus Trump on the Green New Deal. The cameraman gets attacked at a Trump rally and more. So stay right here. We'll come back around the nation. everybody, welcome back to the show. Around the Nation, right here, Jeff Waldorf here with you. Okay, so I am reading some of the comments here. I think it's interesting what Sarge Tech's talking about here. He says, and look, I did a segment, of course, on the Trump tax cuts and how they're actually not helping regular people. I know, it's a crazy idea. If any of you Trump supporters are watching, unless you're very, very wealthy, you don't seem to be getting anything back. I would assume so. But Sarge Tech points out that he knows a family who always got a refund. They actually owe money in 2019. So, interestingly enough, so far, I actually made less in 2018 than I did in 2017. But I owe just about the same. So, oh, that's interesting. So, I've also seen a tax increase thanks to the Trump tax cut. But don't worry. Millionaire out there is now able to buy an extra yacht. Hey, you know what? You know what you guys should have done? You should have deducted your private planes. I know I forgot to do that. I forgot to deduct my private jet. So that's why we end up actually paying more. Sad. All right. But anyway, no, in reality, we all got screwed and the rich got everything. Just as we said that was going to happen. We said that was going to happen. We warned these people. No, the Trump tax cuts, they're not actually tax cuts for you. They're not for the middle class. They are for the rich. They're the super wealthy. That's the only people that it's going to benefit. Why? Because Trump is super wealthy. The Republicans are super wealthy in Congress. They're not looking for you. Oh, no, you guys are just being libtards. You cucks. It's going to help us. No, it's not. And guess who was right? Us again. Facts matter, guys. Facts matter. And so if you're a MAGA guy and you love what Trump's doing, well, I hope you love paying in more to the government, which is ironic because you always claim that, oh, no, it's liberals that are going to make you pay more taxes. BS. BS. All right. Anyway, let's go to the next story here. Let me set up the clip here. All right. Oh, hold on. There we go. I don't think that's the right one. Actually, it is. I had them switched. All right. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hit back against Donald Trump following a comment he made against the Green New Deal. Now, the Green New Deal, of course, has recently been unveiled. It's pretty ambitious policy proposals and goals that will help us get to carbon neutral within the next 10 years. So it's very ambitious. And, of course, both Republicans and establishment Democrats are not exactly in favor of it, which is no surprise. But Trump actually said something against it and against AOC, sort of. And that's interesting in itself, but we'll break that down. Now, responding to a comment President Trump made to Breitbart News, he called the proposal, quote, "It sounds like a high school term paper that got a low mark." So it didn't really address her, but it was her piece of legislation. Now, she said in response, yes, a man who can't even read briefings written in full sentences is provided literary criticism of a House resolution. And of course, she provided a quote here from the Washington Post on Donald Trump's reading habits. It said, "Reading in the intelligence book is not Trump's preferred style of learning, according to a person with knowledge of the situation." And look, during one of the hearings, Lindsey Graham had said that Trump was he's a one-pager kind of guy. Basically, you can only get him to pay attention enough to read one page. And that's it. You can't get his attention. He will read no more. That's weird because when you're president, You're actually supposed to read briefings and actually be educated and, pay attention to meetings and things for more than a few minutes or more than a page. So, anyway, now I'll give you more of that article. It's been widely reported that Trump doesn't like to read intelligence briefings and prefers all his briefings from staff and advisors to be submitted in easy-to-read format, such as a half a page with killer graphics and maps, or tweet-link segments with his name peppered in so that he pays attention. Nice. He's literally the dumbest, laziest president in modern history. Even Ann Coulter knows. Even Ann Coulter says, yeah, he is lazy, he is dumb, he is incompetent. The only reason that we voted for him is so that he could get a giant wall to keep scary brown people out. Whereas AOC is barely a congresswoman, right? She's been barely a congresswoman for very long, but she's already changed the conversation on healthcare, climate change, and has actually put some big ideas on the map. And that's a lot of accomplishments in a very short amount of time. Not only that, but she also beat one of the most established Democrats, the number 2 Democrat in the House, one of the ones that raised some of the most money and was expected to take over the speakership position after Nancy Pelosi. So, again, huge accomplishments, right? Now, as far as Trump, anybody think he actually read any part of that resolution? Any part of it? Any part of the proposal? No, of course, he 100% did not read that. That is literally 14 pages long. He's a one-pager kind of guy. He can't get through that. It's too much. It's too much. But one interesting thing about this, right, is that, yes, he went after the Green New Deal. He didn't go after AOC specifically, though. He refuses to openly attack her. This is the closest he's ever gotten. You know why? I think he's terrified of her. Oh, I think he's terrified. Why? Because she is smarter than he is. He's not a smart person. Not only that, but she's also, at least in politics, seemingly more accomplished. I know. You're like, what? What are you talking about? He's president of the United States. Okay, fair point. But then again, he ran against Hillary Clinton, someone who was widely despised. And look, she ran without any money against one of the most established Democrats in the House, who thought of her as so little of a significant threat that he literally put up somebody else to debate in his place against her. So when it comes to politics, she is actually really accomplished, whereas he, not so much. But again, I think that's why he does not want to touch her. And not only that, but she's really accomplished on social media. She knows how to fight. And she has the facts on her side. And that's one thing that President Trump can't stand. He has a war on facts. He has a war on logic and reason. And when somebody comes at him who is smart and internet, social media savvy, he can't go up against it. He knows he's going to lose. Okay. So now let's go to the Trump rally. All right. A Trump supporter was caught on camera attacking a cameraman during the president's rally in El Paso. Now, the BBC's Ron Skeens was recording video of Trump speaking to the crowd about immigration when he was attacked by a Trump supporter wearing a MAGA hat. Now, I want to show you the video of what happened, and then we'll break it down.
Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Asian Americans have reached the lowest level in the history of our country.
All right. So, look, that's what happened. Notice how the crowd was saying, let him go. Now, look, I got to give credit to the guy who was there who actually did restrain him and stop him from beating up that reporter. He was actually, look, he's probably a Trump supporter. He's wearing the MAGA hat and everything. But at least he's like, hey, dude, calm down. You got to get out of here. This is not good. So I actually got to give that guy a little bit of credit. But everybody else, I mean, the people who were shouting, let him go, they wanted that guy to let the guy go who attacked a reporter, maybe to finish what he started. That's scary, man. That's really scary. In fact, Skeens he later told the BBC that the man who had not been identified shoved him hard from his blind side. So it was a sneak attack. How cowardly, right? And the cameraman was not sure what had actually happened at first. So are you just going to come up and blindly attack somebody for no reason? Just because he's actually filming a thing. He's not saying anything. He's not doing commentary. He's not saying, oh, Donald Trump's lying. He sucks, whatever. No, he's literally just holding a camera and filming the rally per his job. And yet, that's enough, apparently, to upset some Trump supporters. Jeez, man. Now, BBC Washington editor Eleanor Montague, who was also at the event with Skeens, said, look, this is what happens with Trump's rhetoric. She said, the crowd had been whipped up into a frenzy against the media by Trump and other speakers all night. This isn't at all shocking, right? Now, of course, there are some reports that say that maybe alcohol was a little bit of a factor. So this guy might have been drunk and then egged on by Trump and the rest of the speakers. And that, look, that's not an excuse. That's not a good excuse, right? But here we go, right? That's maybe what they're going with. But look, what do you think happens when you call media that reports accurately on you fake news and the enemy of the people? What happens? What happens? People start to believe it. And then they start treating you as the enemy. And sometimes it turns into a classic mob mentality where people actually get hurt. I mean, what he's doing specifically is stoking a fire. I mean, all the time, you hear him, every interview, fake news, all the tweets. Fake news media, they're attacking me again. They're making things up. They're the enemy, and maybe they need to stop. And then, of course, oh, they're trying to destroy me, which means they're also trying to destroy you because they hate you, and they're the enemy of the people. He's egging them on. He's egging them on, and he won't stop. This isn't the first time, by the way, Trump has incited violence against the press, or has at least ignored the violence. I have a great example of him cheering on someone who actually did violence. You guys remember Greg Gianforte, right? Now, Greg Gianforte's from Montana, and he had body slammed a reporter. Well, now here's Trump in October of last year talking about Gianforte and actually giving him praise.
But Greg is smart. And by the way, never wrestle him. You understand that? Never. Any guy that can do a body slam, he's my kind of... He's my guy. I shouldn't say this because there's nothing to be embarrassed about. So I was in Rome with a lot of the leaders from other countries talking about all sorts of things. And I heard about it. And we endorsed Greg very early. But I had heard that he body slammed a reporter. And he was way up. And he was way up. And I said, oh, this was like the day of the election or just before. And I said, oh, this is terrible. He's going to lose the election. Then I said, well, wait a minute. I know Montana pretty well. I think it might help him. And it did.
Anybody that can body slam, that's my kind of guy. Add into it, of course, the video of him, or retweeting the video of him body slamming, what was it? Somebody with the CNN face superimposed of it, or the logo. I mean, come on, man. This guy does incite violence against his enemies. And he loves to say, oh, no, those are my people. Those are my guys. Keep on doing that. There are numerous examples of him inciting violence at his rallies. He's a disgusting person. And look, is it any surprise then when somebody actually does what he says? Of course, later on you go, oh, no, I didn't do that. I didn't tell them to do that. Oh, no, I'm the victim and the media is attacking me again by making up these falsehoods that we're inciting violence. No, dude, it's gaslighting. That's what that is. And if it's one thing that Donald Trump does all the time is try to gaslight us. Come on. Overall, though, one more thing. I just got to point out, it's pretty dangerous to be a reporter now. Not just in the United States. It's actually far more dangerous to be in other places, a reporter. Freedom of the press is being attacked all over the world, and now in America. And that, I think, has very dangerous implications for democracy. So you need to be careful, man. And we need to make sure to protect the press. All right. I'm going to take another break here. We'll come back. We got one more story for you guys. So stay right here. Send your super chats. I'll read some messages when we get back, if we have any. So we'll do that. All right. Stay right here. We'll be back. Around the Nation. Everybody, welcome back to the show. Around the Nation right here, Jeff Waldorf with you. Okay, I'm going to check to see if there are any new members to give thanks to. None so far. So if you want to sign up, support independent progressive media, you can hit the join button. We're going to check on the fundraiser for the camera. All right, so you guys can help me out with that as well by going to gofundme.com/TYTNation camera. We're almost there. So we're $500. We're $575 away, actually. All right. Anyway, one more story here. That's Ilhan Omar. All right. Let me see if I can. All right. President Trump is now demanding the resignation of Representative Ilhan Omar over her comments on AIPAC. Now, during a press event, he said, quote, "I think she should either resign from Congress or she should certainly resign from the House Foreign Affairs Committee." He also said that she had a, quote, "deep-seated bigotry in her heart." So, I'm going to explain what this is about, just in case that you didn't know the blow-up when it comes to Ilhan Omar. But first, let's get to the apology in which he called lame. So now she what was it? I forget the exact word. But she apologized completely for apparently making some anti-Semitic trope, which I don't agree at all. I actually think that she shouldn't apologize. But what happened is that she correctly called out money in politics. Now, AIPAC is the pro-Israeli lobby, right? And what they do is they lobby on behalf of the right-wing government of Israel. Now, the thing is they don't represent all Jewish people. In fact, they especially don't represent a lot of American Jews who don't actually agree with their policy proposals and their goals. Now, what are their goals? More conflict and illegal settlement building in the West Bank. And so, not only that, but they also want to continue to get the U.S. to fund their military. Why can't they fund their military on their own? It's not like they don't have enough money. So Representative Omar rightly pointed out that AIPAC influences our politicians just like every other lobbyist group. That includes the NRA. In fact, AIPAC is the Democrats' NRA. So, but look, when that happened, when she said it's all about the Benjamins, right, referencing a P. Diddy song or a Puff Daddy song, and money in politics, both establishment Democrats and right-wingers lost it. And both, I think, for disingenuous reasons. The right wing, of course, likes Israel because it fulfills their end times fantasy. That end times fantasy, by the way, ends really badly for Jewish people. And look, for the Democrats, a lot of Democrats take money from AIPAC. Now, but it's also a little bit more than that. Democrats, of course, do have a large Jewish constituency. But unsurprisingly, they believe American Jewish people to be more right-wing, when in reality, a lot of American Jews are left-wing and not at all in favor of the conservative Likud government. So there's a disconnect, especially between younger American Jews and Israel. And so a lot of these younger American Jews are also very opposed to President Trump and Bibi Netanyahu. But of course, these Democrats, the Democratic establishment, conflates any criticism of AIPAC and their lobbying as criticism of Jewish people as a whole, which is absolutely ridiculous. So, but anyway, let's get back to Donald Trump, right? So now, Trump wants her to resign. Why? For pointing out the influence of money in politics. But wait, Trump kind of did the same thing during his campaign. Remember, he said, look, I give you guys money and you'll do whatever the hell I want you to. Whatever the hell I tell you to, right? But, of course, he didn't call out AIPAC or the NRA. Now, shocking, but Trump got a lot of money from the NRA. And so, that's interesting why you didn't call him out. As far as AIPAC goes, look, he loves AIPAC. Why? Well, it's because Trump's most fervent base is evangelical Christians. And, of course, right-wing Jews, right? Now, the thing about that is that evangelicals, and I mentioned this with their crazy end times fantasy, was they believe that all Jews should be returned to Israel so that we can kick off the end times, the apocalypse, right? Now, that's where Jesus comes back. Most of the people die, including all the Jewish people who aren't saved, except for a very, very small group of Jewish people who convert to Christianity. So it's complete insanity, but it's actually what they believe. It's craziness, right? Not only that, but Trump himself, look, he's got no leg to stand on here because when the neo-Nazis were marching in Charlottesville, they chanted, "Jews will not replace us." Trump said there were good people on both sides originally. And it took a long time and a lot of political pressure to get him to finally say, "Oh, no, okay. I think they're deplorable. I think they're bad people after all." What took you so long? This should be a slam dunk, a no-brainer. Just come out and say how difficult it is to say these people are bad. These people represent terrible things. But no, they're not going to do that. He's going to take a long time to do that, and he did. And it makes you wonder why. Look, he also took a long time to call out the white supremacist terrorism after the Tree of Life synagogue attack. Refused to call it what it was, right? That is white supremacist terrorism. Again, one of those shootings happened because this guy, this white supremacist, believed that Jewish people were actually funding the caravans, which they were not. So, yes, there were people that were actually helping people in the caravan, right? Get food and supplies, but not like actually funding and creating the caravan out of nowhere to come invade America. It's ridiculous, right? So, no, you want to spread conspiracy theories. You want to you want to retweet conspiracy theories against Jewish people, against George Soros. Come on, man. You want to tell me who's got the deep-seated bigotry in their heart? Come on. It's not Representative Omar. Representative Omar sincerely apologized for using what they described as anti-Semitic tropes. Again, I don't think she should have apologized because I don't think she actually did anything wrong. And that's my opinion. But nonetheless, even if you agree that, oh, no, I think that was, but she apologized. Well, okay, well, we won't agree on that one, but at least we'll agree that President Trump is the last person to try to call her out on anything, right? No, this is a case of massive hypocrisy on the part of the president. But honestly, what did you expect? Okay. That's all I got, guys. I know it's kind of a quick show, but all right. Before I go, I want to thank everybody for joining me on the stream. I want to thank Elwell for contributing to the camera fund through the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Again, that helps to the show. So thank you so much, El. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the patrons. Thank you to those who have signed up to become members. You guys are awesome. Best audience ever. Coming up next is TYT, the Young Turks main show. If you're interested in watching that, you can go there after we're done here, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. So, thank you. Love you guys. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation. See y'all tomorrow.